In the previous video, the topic of negative feelings and the aggression that everyone can experience at some point in life was discussed. These can be long-standing experiences such as shame, the desire for vindication, envy, for example, as well as circumstantial anger that greatly embitter us and often trigger other negative feelings. In short, it is undeniable that human life is not only made up of good feelings but also of unpleasant experiences, and this is true from a young age. And even when we are older, it is normal and we need to know how to live with it in the best way possible. In the previous video, it was mentioned how a way, let's say, incorrect, in which some people deal with their negative sides, their experiences and feelings of aggression or anger, is to transform them in their place, but in an artificial and inherently ineffective way. Since an observation, even if not too in-depth, of the behavior shows clearly the reflections of intolerance, aggression, and negative feelings are still present, although shielded by a strange benevolence, by a frayed philanthropic understanding. And we have talked about this. Now, what would be healthier to do instead of pretending to be good and harboring negative feelings unconsciously projected onto an enemy and shifted onto fictitious problems? So, for example, I get nervous at work and take out the frustration at home. Well, first of all, recognize and accept the fact that we have negative feelings, that thinking badly or feeling resentment or unpleasantness is something human. It is acceptable and does not make us worse or dirty people. Let's also ask ourselves who taught us to feel guilty for these very human traits. And I'm not saying imperfect, but truly human. After that, never underestimate the possibility of using negative or painful feelings to build something good and not destructive. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but in this video, as in the previous one, I never use the term hate, but rather aggression. Because hate is the psychopathic form of aggression, and with hate, precisely because of its nature, nothing good can be done. So, let's consider using feelings like shame, resentment, envy instead. But not the destructive kind, which is another expression of hate or the desire for revenge. I mention these feelings specifically, for example, as proof of a constructive use of negativity. But it's absolutely not the only one. There are many, both among males and females, who have embarked on sports, professional, or bodybuilding paths. For example, because they felt insecure about their appearance. Maybe they were bullied, maybe they harbored a fierce desire for revenge and got to work. Not to destroy others' lives or their own, out of desperation, but starting from a now I'll show you, they still arrived at a change, a construction, a building that is building something instead of demolishing. Attention, I am not talking about eating disorders or bigorexia or reverse anorexia or orthorexia. That is extremisms loaded onto the self through somatic means, where one can still trace an aggressiveness, a self-harm that unfortunately, in some cases, leads to self-destruction when the level of hatred is underlying. No, I am talking about how to use a fundamentally negative energy to generate constructive results without degenerating into painful feelings or overturning nature, in the attempt to escape from them, without nurturing them in a harmful way towards oneself and others. Indeed, especially in the case of sports, there is not only a physical transformation, but also, I would say, an identity and value transformation beyond that. Then there are all the well-known repercussions at the psychological level. Anyway, I delved into the sports theme, but one could also mention the artistic field, those who make music, those who engage in visual arts, actors. What must be clear is that very often, I don't say always and never, words that are always best not to use, I say very often, there is a way to use psychological negativities constructively. Get help from your therapist to discover how, or try it on your own, I recommend. See you next time.